Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Is your girl Uslindobushe Wagwanzibande. If it's your very first time on my channel, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So today guys, I decided to do something exciting. So for those of you who are new on my channel, I've been doing a segment. I think this will be like part 4 or part 5 of the segment that I'm doing of how to sell on Makro, whereas I'm just showing you guys the step-by-step process on how you can be able to, from applying to uploading your products to everything that's going on. So guys, I started my journey with Makro. It was in June. I think it was the beginning of June. That's when I started. When I started, I was a bit skeptical because I've tried to sell on Take Alert before and it honestly didn't work out for me. So I was like, okay, let me just try Makro and see if how different it is compared to Take Alert. And honestly, I was impressed. I loved it. For a first time seller, I was taken, I tell you. So today I'm just gonna do a quick video. I'll show you guys how much I have made on Makro so far. I am not going to be hiding anything from you guys because I just want you guys to get a clear view of everything. And please also note that it does depend on the product that you are going to be selling. So don't think, Kuti, you are just there to make a million. No, it depends on the products that you're going to be selling and the amount of interest that you're actually making from your products. So I am going to be looking a bit down because I don't want to deviate. I want to make sure that I cover everything on this video, but I will also attach like my invoice or my monthly invoice here. So first things first, what I wanted to talk about would be payment dates and how and when Makro actually pays you. So they pay you on the 15th of each month and also on the 30th or the 31st of each month, depending on when the month ends. So what they do is they take your orders. So if you're going to be making orders or making deliveries from the 1st up until the 15th, those orders are only going to be paid out on the 30th. And then whatever you make from the 15th up until, or whatever you deliver from the 15th up until the 30th, those will be paid on the 15th of the following month. So that's how it actually works. Honestly, I love the process. I really do. Because it gives your customers enough time to process their returns if they have some returns that they want to process, so that you know exactly how much you are going to be making on the 15th or the 30th, and it also gives you enough time as a seller to make sure that you cover a lot of orders between that time frame. So the next thing that I also wanted to cover was the charge that Makro charges you, which is the 230 that they charge you. So they charge you that amount or fee once a month, depending on when you started being a Makro seller. I usually get my charge by the 15th of every single month. So whatever I make or whatever I sell whatever I sell from the 15th up until the 30th, on the 15th, they'll take that amount from my charges. So I've never had, from my orders, I've never had a time within these 2 months of selling with Makro where I didn't make enough orders to be able to cover that cost. So I've always had enough orders to cover the cost. And then another thing that I also wanted to cover was the commission. and the delivery fees. So guys, please note, when it comes to the commission and the delivery fees, it always depends on the product that you're selling. With the commission, it depends on the category that you're selling under. They have different commission based on the category. So if you're selling under beauty, it's a different amount of commission. If you're selling and something else, it's also a different amount, but you're always going to get an invoice once the order is delivered. They'll send you an invoice to show you how much they've actually charged you for commission for that order. And then when it comes to deliveries, most of my deliveries are made by courier guy. So I used to think the process was a bit hard, like Take-A-Lots, where you had to take things to the fulfillment center, but it was actually way much easier. You're just going to book or generate a label on the sides. So this is a part that I'm also going to be doing with you guys later on, but you're just going to generate a label on the sides, and the label will tell you which carrier will pick up for that specific order. The carrier will come pick up the order and have it delivered to the customer. You just need to make sure that you've packed your order, every single thing about the order. You've packed it, you've put it in the correct plastic bag that's needed for that specific course. Most of the carriers don't actually care about the type of plastic bag that you use, because when they get to their fulfillment center, they're still going to put their plastic bag anyways. So it really doesn't matter, and you shouldn't stress much about that. Courier Guide does also give those paper bags, is it paper bag or plastic bags, for free. So if you want, you are able to go to a courier guy facility or center and just ask for those, and they are going to give them to you for free. So usually with my orders, I get charged maybe like 45 Rand, but I can say that the highest amount that I've gotten charged for my deliveries was maybe like 50 Rand or 55 Rand, but I've never gotten charged anything more than that. And please also note that it depends on the weight that your item carries. The items that I am currently selling are a very, very, very low weight, and that's because I haven't gotten the guts to sell other items as yet that are much of a bigger weight, but it is something that I'm still exploring on. I'm looking for new items that I can be able to add on my store. So guys, this will be the end of this video. I don't want to make it a bit long because I don't want to add a lot of information into one video. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna attach the amount. I'm just going to show you the invoice here. I'll attach it on the screen here, which will be the invoice of the amount that I made in June. I think it was the month of June going to July, and then the amount that I made also in July as well. So it's honestly not a lot, but it is something if you are maybe not working, if you're not working, or maybe it's just some part side hustle that you're doing for yourself. So it is going to go a long way for you, especially if you're selling products that you are really making interest on. So you need to make sure that whenever you're selling a product, you are already counting the commission and the delivery fee that Makro is going to charge you before you can count your interest and before you can count the amount that you're using to purchase the product. But that is information that I'm also going to be doing on a different and separate video. For now, thank you very much guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. So guys, I decided to do the invoice thing separately as a different video. So this is the first invoice that I ever got from Makro. So it means that I started selling in June around the 15th, because I got paid around the 15th of July. That was my first payment, and as you guys can see, I made around 1,149 Rand, and I made a few sales. That was my first 15 days of selling. So this was a payment from the 15th of June up until the 30th or the 31st of June. So this is what I made for the first 15 days of selling on Makro. It's really not bad. And then we go to the second one, which was on the 31st of July. So on the 31st of July, I made quite a bit, which was 1,915 Rand. My sales were a bit high and I had only one return, which is really good. So as you can see, guys, I'm not selling products that have a high amount. The biggest products that I'm selling currently is going for 380, and then this was my last invoice, which was received on the 15th of August today. And this one was a bit low because my supplier was out of stock, so I couldn't be able to process a lot of orders for the previous month. But yeah, this is about everything. The commission, as you can see, and the transport fees do reflect there. They are not that bad.